You're listening to Like Father, Like Sons.
Have you hit record yet? No.
I did. I get surprised we're recording.
Oh, okay.
Welcome, welcome. Hey, father. Hey, brother. Happy day.
Happy day. Happy day. How are you all?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I feel like I slept in a little longer today than I have been, and that's probably because I fell asleep on my couch at like 9 o'clock last night for a couple hours, and then you're awake for a couple hours, and then you're asleep again. So
Isn't
that
that
was,
great? Isn't that great when you fall asleep on the couch and you wake up 3 hours later and you don't know what day it is?
I love that when you think, or yeah, especially now when you have the TV shows you can stream and leave on, so you don't even notice the difference. You just kind of wake up and like you're like, doesn't look like the same episode this was.
Well, Brent, you've had that experience. I know you've told us that before.
Oh yeah, where I fall asleep with the TV on and I can't remember what I was watching because somehow it's changed to something completely different.
Oh yeah. My
Though
favorite.
I was gonna say, though, to be honest, I've put on some of the same stuff so much. For example, I'm gonna shout out Avatar: The Last Airbender as that guilty pleasure, constant on background Netflix show, even when I travel, because I can sleep. And that's really easy actually when I'm like I fell asleep watching part of it and I wake up in a completely different place, or like the series is over. You're like it wasn't over yet. Wasn't over yet. So with that, I want to welcome everyone. Episode four. We had episode four already. Can we believe that? Of Like Father, Like Sons. And this time we have everybody. We got Like Father and the Sons. We got Glenn Fox, the father. I was going to make a Holy Spirit thing, but we're not going to go down that road yet. I'm Carter Fox. A pleasure to meet you. And my big brother, big time radio broadcaster, big time TV broadcaster, big time. He's a writer man too. He does all this kind of creative stuff that involves actually using your brain because he's a very smart kind of guy as well. And we need more of that out there. To be completely honest, I'm just going to say that. Brent, how you doing? Welcome. We kind of already talked about our week, but how you doing? You're looking good. I know our video people can't see this, but man, Brent's looking dapper in his
Oh,
little golf shirt. What's up,
no,
Dad?
our video people can see this. It's our audio people who can't see this.
Oh, did I just misspeak to the audio people? Do I have to do a cut and re-edit and clean up after this? No, I'm not going to do that, but Brent looks dapper, man. You're looking good.
Thank you. Yeah, I decided to go with the collared shirt again today.
I see Dad match too. I didn't get the collared shirt. As the musician in the family, wearing black t-shirts.
You
It
didn't get you didn't get the memo?
I didn't get the memo. You're lucky I didn't wear my branded jacket for the fourth time. Kept my, it's so hot out that I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to leave it like this.
I don't know about you guys, but we've got like thunder clouds all over the place up here, and who knows what's going to happen. The weather looks ominous. I think it was supposed to go through morning. I mean, we're just taping this early afternoon, so I don't know what's going on. I'm in my dungeon office, and um, so I don't know what's doing outside. I don't hear any thunder. I always say I don't hear any lightning, but you don't hear lightning. You see lightning, I guess, and you hear thunder, but I always mess that up. But so if I get cut off for a couple of seconds, it could be because power has gone. Um,
Even with your fancy generator,
oh,
even with that
I know
amazing fancy generator.
you didn't let me finish. I said it'll go out for a couple of seconds and then come back up, but you never know how that affects equipment. So, yes, the generator is here. The generator, if the power goes out, will come on, and that's always a strange story because there are not a lot of generators in the neighborhood, and you can always tell who's got one and who doesn't by who's got power and who's out when the outages are in place. So. That's what gets people to buy generators is when that happens too much. It's not the fact that it goes out, it's that some people have power and others don't, and that's all because of the generators. The other thing is what's really funny is right now I'm seeing a lot of ads on social media for whole house generators. And I've not seen that before. We've had a generator for a couple of years now. I have not seen a lot of whole house generator ads, but now all the companies are out there, and whether it's whole house and whether it's stationary whole house things that run on natural gas or propane, or whether it's the power ones, the portable ones that you hook up afterwards that run on solar power. It's amazing. I'm seeing like five and six every time you scroll through. And I don't know why, because I didn't mention it. Usually, if you say something, that the next day that product shows up. The next day, the next 10 minutes, that product shows up on the internet. But just seeing a lot of them now. So either they're hungry for the business, they got a lot of them they want to install, or somebody said something near my phone, and there it goes.
Oh, somebody probably said something. Someone probably said something. But it's
Mhm.
also interesting you bringing that up. Is it just you don't have to go into it, but are they since you're seeing more ads, are they less expensive? Are the generators become more affordable in your opinion since you get it? Because sometimes you see that because like yes, they want to increase that sale and now they're really pushing it. And if you're seeing on Meta, if you're on Facebook and Instagram,
Yeah, yeah,
they can target, they get really in, you can really go into, and I know this as a marketing person, so that's why I have the expertise to say like even I don't know what kind of income level stuff you put out there, but you are a homeowner in certain places and you can kind of tailor in marketing to places of typically higher proportion suburban places that would need the generator. And that's probably what you're starting to see where companies are now wanting, they want to push that more to people. Um, and I don't know if you like it could be you randomly click something. So it's interesting. You could click on the ad if you see it and see why you're seeing it. You can
yeah,
do all that kind of stuff.
yeah.
As interesting as that is. But I was also going to say it does look dark and ominous, and it's so hot out here, and I wouldn't surprise me. It was actually drizzling a little bit here. See, Dad's in his dungeon. I'm here on my second floor studio here in the clouds, my little tree house. So I'm right up in it. And when Brent and I the other night were testing another video recording service, we had that crazy storm come through that at least through our area there was, I believe, attached to it a tornado somewhere in the region. Here we had straight winds that were damaging everything, and
Right.
I had lights flickering. I live in the city, and that knock on wood, like it's been pretty well. Even when it's getting like that, like they're really quick and the power. But people have been out without power for a couple days still, and it makes you think about that, right? Like, hey, how can I avoid that? Let me get the generator.
Well, and you see, that's the whole thing when those kind of storms, and I'll tell you the story that's part of my what happened this week's story. Um, it came up the uh, the generator. I'm not caring anymore if the power goes out because of the generator. We've had the power go out a number of times since we've had the generator, and we sit there and count to about 10, and then the generator kicks on, and then another 5 or 6 seconds until the power comes back. And that was explained to me by the person who put in the generator that yeah, they do that so that it doesn't automatically cut over if the power comes back. And it's also a fail-safe because it's a lot to go into the generator. It's a lot to switch power and to do that exchange. I understand. Again, I have when it came to science, um, when I was in high school, instead of letting me cut up the frog, they gave me the book to look at. That's how bad I was in doing that. Although, I won't tell you my grades.
Yeah, I
Um,
was about to cut you off and be like, but Mister, what were the grades? Excuse me. We don't have to go into the craziness of it, of some of the story of it, but we know, my brother and I know this well, where my father, God love him, God bless him, we love him. He's a freaking genius madman. What, you had a 4.0? You were the valedictorian, weren't you? I don't know if that was because of the highest
oh,
grade or you won something, because
I
now it's a
won.
little.
I won something. I was valedictorian in high school, but it was because of a contest, speaking contest.
Oh, so
Um,
not only were you like just extra smart, but then you were like you could do the public speaking stuff
I
and
could do
get
the
it.
public. I did the public speaking stuff, and that's how I won it in high school. But it goes back that far. So,
And then he
but
kept being that kind of guy where he's like he has more degrees than Brent and I combined, even though, maybe as much as Brent and I combined. What, Brent? Don't look at me like that.
I was gonna say between the two of us, we have four advanced degrees. I think
And
Dad
how
had,
many does Dad have? Three?
I think it was three, but I could be
Let's
wrong.
ask him. Dad, how many advanced degrees do you have?
how many should I have?
He has a JD,
Yeah, an undergrad degree, a JD,
an
LLM, and
LLM.
publication. I have three. I have
Oh,
three.
just three. Okay.
That's three.
Just three. So I had to get him to
Sorry, so
have
I'm
an MBA.
still I'm still, the number one when it comes individually. I'm the John Cena of this group.
Yeah,
We're the
he's got
tag
more than
team champs.
the two of us separately, but not together at least.
That's
Or
right,
the
not
Acolyte
combined.
or the Dudley Boys, whatever. Yeah, I was
Right.
inspired to get my MBA just so Dad couldn't hold that anymore. I was like,
No, I'm the John Cena of this group. There you go. You guys are are one of you guys is the Randy Orton trying to catch up. So there you go. I have a story with that too, but we'll hold that one for later. Um,
too funny.
so let's get back to the storm because this was a story. One of the stories for the week. I was away this week at a conference from my office, and it wasn't too far. I was in Princeton, New Jersey, so it wasn't a far ride. It was a ride. It was not a plane ride, if you will. It was a car ride. But when that storm came up, and I guess that was Thursday night, the storm hit this week, and we're taping this on a Sunday afternoon. Um, the
Breaking the
storm.
fourth wall. You're breaking the fourth wall.
That's okay. That's what these are all about. The well, last week we did it on Father's Day, so how can you say we didn't break the wall then as well? Anyway,
That was a special thing.
people could figure that out, so it's okay. Anyway, back to the story. So Princeton. I don't think I've been to Princeton in a long time, if ever. I don't think I was ever on the campus of the University of Princeton University until now. Until this was part of it was there near the campus and on the campus. I guess we were there for a little bit, but we were outside of the hotel on Thursday to take a group picture, and the people taking it were very concerned because it was supposed to storm according to the weather forecast starting at 6:15. And this was about 6 o'clock, and they wanted to get the group together, and they wanted to get everybody to have the picture, and they said we got to do this quick. And it was on a little grassy area, if you will, near the hotel, which was nice, and steps so that you have the group of people standing on the steps and going up and down. And there was a little band, and Carter, I thought of you because there was a little band playing under a tent, small tent, but a tent. I'm laughing because I'm thinking of the scene, the tent, and they're playing, music, rock, whatever it was they were playing. And so we get the pictures real quick. We go back inside, and within about 5 minutes, and again, we go in at about 10 after 6. At 6:15, what everybody predicted, it started to pour and it started to come down in sheets, and the cats and the dogs and whatever cliche you want to use, and everything was coming down. And all these people, this group, probably 5 or 6 people who were both watching the band and the band, were standing under this little canvas tent, and the wind was blowing and they were trying to hold it, and it was good, and they were okay. It wasn't the tornado didn't come through, I don't believe. Not that I saw, but I'm sure they all got soaked, even though they were under this tent. That's how bad the weather was. But that was a 5-minute close for everybody in my group because we almost got lambasted just trying to get a group picture.
I've played in situations and then the rain comes through and yeah, the number one thing is protect that gear
Right,
if you can. Unplug everything because that's danger, but then
right.
get your stuff away, get that equipment away. And it's surprising a little bit that they did have the warning, and that's the other part. If you have a little heads up, try to take advantage of it. But that's sometimes you get stuck. And Brett and I have been at summer camp many times when you get these storms rolling through and you're outside under the tent. I kind of enjoy it, but not when you're like in those situations. Not that much of a storm because that was a pretty wild one.
Oh yeah.
Cutting visibility, cutting wind, cutting wind. Uh, sorry, just
Only
breaking
you,
it.
Carter. Only you
No,
would come up
well,
talking about the weather
I'm
and
just
you were cutting wind. Thank you very much.
I'm just trying not to make myself cry because when I had the windstorm come through, I have this little hydroponic 3D printed garden thing, herbal garden that grows that I have on my porch, and the wind came through, and I this is how I know when the storm's bad because like I kind of get a wind tunnel effect where I am, and it goes one way, but this time it came the other direction and knocked everything over, and like knocked some of my plants over and broke them, broke my little 3D printed thing. My lettuce plants all bent over and sad, but it was storming. I literally walked out and my neighbors were standing on their porch because they were trying to leave, and then it started storming while they were packing their car. And they were like, "Oh, don't try to pick that up. It may, just blow down again." I'm like, "I'm not gonna leave it down here. Like
No.
these things are gonna get destroyed anymore." Like it was storming. I do love the weather. I do used to want to be a storm chaser until I woke up and said, "No, why why am I gonna do that?" So I'm like, "Let me go be a musician
Oh,
instead."
that's right. When you were little, you wanted to be a weather person.
I did because it's cool. It is interesting. I still love watching the weather. I'll watch storm stuff, stormy weather from here, but there's a big difference, and especially over the last since I really was like the kid and making the choice in the teenagers, at least observing it, storms have gotten much worse and more frequent. There's some reasons for this warming of waters and changing of climate things and regions becoming more storm intense than they were at least in the 90s. Like, when would we have severe storms every weekend in the summer? You go to Florida, but like now we have Florida weather up here. Like, and up here
Yeah.
you can get the rotation, then you're seeing everything. And I'm like, cool. I'm cool with that. I don't need to go chase the storms down. And yeah, I don't know. I picked up those bases in elementary and middle school, and I was like, I'm done. Let me go do this. And mom tried her best to be like, no, no, try something, try like, business. Yeah, maybe you like some law, the music. Okay, music business. All right, close enough. Go, go.
That was how we kept you out of football. We let you play lacrosse.
Yeah. Well, that's because that was called ignorance. That was called. I swear, I don't believe mom ever would have let me play that sport, realizing like what that sport was.
Oh, as it was once described to me after that, boys with sticks and they can use them. What's better than that?
You can just. I remember my first game. First minute, and a guy running up me. I was playing defense, long pole, long, long stick, and he runs up, and I'm like, I don't care. Here we go. I don't know what to do, and I just whacked him in the head with my freaking stick. Because I'm like, I'm going to try to hit you, and that's my version of this right now, and I got a penalty. First thing out the gate.
I remember that, and I remember that play, and I remember looking at that and saying, "All right, this is his game."
We gotta learn, and I love how much it's still loved as a game. You know,
Yeah.
seeing it
Well, okay. So let me tell you this side of watching that play. If you since you said that, we're first game for a new sport that neither of you had played before. Brent never played lacrosse, so never had any experience with it.
Brent, I don't
Carter,
think I ever had any single interest ever in that sport.
no, I don't think so. I mean,
To play,
again,
to play.
Brent, you played basketball, you played
Soccer,
I did
soccer.
basketball, soccer,
track,
hockey.
roller
It
hockey.
well, I did track, but I wasn't one of the runners in track, but yeah, I did track too.
You did field, I guess.
You
Yeah, I
did
did the
you
field side of track and field.
okay. So, we had no experience with lacrosse. And I remember going to that first game and standing on the sidelines with your mother and other parents and it's today there's a lot more emphasis on parents not thinking that their kids are going to get a college education because they can play in club sports. and they're going to get a scholarship going to college. So we're going to really have them play these games, and we're going to coach them from the sidelines and scream at the referees and scream at the um, coaches and scream. And it still happens today, but I think there's a lot more of an emphasis for that not to happen. You know, for the parents simply to enjoy the game for what it is. The likelihood of your child getting a scholarship going to college in any of these, if you look at all of these games, and if there's 30 kids on a team or whatever it might be, depending on what it is, or 20 kids on the team or 10 kids on the team, regardless of the number, if one of those, and most of the time it'll be of none of those, will ever get even a partial scholarship to go to college as a result of their athletic abilities playing in these games. Anyway, but you know, everybody's watching, everybody's cheering, everybody's yelling, everybody, whatever it is at that point, and we kind of stop. And I think Brent stopped me, and I'll take a little side light here. I learned from watching Brent play soccer when you try to tell, was trying to coach him from the sidelines, which is a mistake. Brent came off the field one time and said, "Dad, do me a favor. Let the coach coach. Just watch the game and don't." I don't think he quite said it like that, but that was the intent of shut up your mouth. Basically, is what he wanted to say. He was more respectful than that than saying that to his father, but that was really the intent of what he said. And from that time on, I just watched and enjoyed. Sometimes I had a referee, sometimes I had a coach because if somebody else wasn't there, so I would coach, but not yell at the kids on the sideline. My favorite stuff was refereeing soccer games at soccer and doing that and just trying to do it. Stories from that. Anyway, back to the story of the first lacrosse game. The So we're watching the game and Carter is playing defense and he's a long pole defense. And I guess, and so much you were on the left side of this coming down, as I recall. And the kid on the other team has the ball. And the only thing I can liken it is to a basketball player coming down, through the key and coming down in the middle to go for a layup. And this kid was coming down, and Carter is there, and he gets him, and he has a stick, and he takes a stick, and he hits him over the head. Um, in which we all like, what? What was that? And yeah, Carter got a penalty. He hit the kid in the head, and that was our introduction to lacrosse. Thank you very much.
Well, the kid was huge too, if I recall, compared to me. There was a lot of that in the cross. There's a
Yeah,
lot of,
well,
and either way, you can be the bigger kid, they can be the one, and it was just yeah, I was not, I wasn't used to checking in the cross yet, other than like the protect yourself. Your attempt at that point, I was basically like this in life, but I raised the stick up, and it just kind of, it's the
you
stick is
just kind
kind
of
of,
knocked him on top of the head. That's all.
yeah, he was fine. No one got hurt. He
Nobody got
literally went
hurt. No,
in
no, no, no. Nobody
fine.
got hurt.
The kid rolled through it.
That's why you wear helmets in that sport because that happens more often than not. Let's put it
Yeah,
that
it's
way.
hockey.
Especially, and how old were you? Do you remember? About 12, 13,
Yeah, not 13. I was,
11?
yeah, I think I played eighth. I was in elementary school.
You
I
were
was 11 or 12. I was like
11
fifth
or
or sixth
12.
grade.
Okay. Okay. Because yeah, you would yeah, 11, you'd be 12 in 6th grade, 11 in 5th grade, whatever it was. But yeah, I mean it was but I still remember
I'm
that
pretty
play.
sure it was, pretty sure I started in fifth grade. It was fourth or fifth. I remember fifth or sixth, five or six.
Okay.
I just can't remember
All
'cause I
right.
played a
Well,
couple years of club.
all I do is all I can say is I do remember that play. I do remember when that happened. I
The
do remember
first,
that
but not the
penalty.
last stupid Carter Fox lacrosse move. I'll tell you that. And that is a part that will probably come up multiple times over multiple episodes. But truthfully, I love the sport. I still have in my head the lesson. I still wonder if we talk about multiverses in life and things. We don't have to go down this road, but out there in the multiverse, there's a Carter who said, instead of when I did this, I'm going to take music seriously and I'm going to go this direction because I don't have enough time and energy to dictate between a varsity sport and a varsity music kind of thing. But someone in a different multiverse, there's a Carter who said, "Yeah, okay." I see some lacrosse goalies in the NLL and it playing the indoor and the outdoor leagues now and the college. And I'm like, man, they're 6 foot, 250 pound dudes. I was a great goalie, like, but
Well, yeah, well, but when did you switch to goalie? Again, you were playing defense at the start, but how long did it take you? Was it half a season or was it the next season
it
that
was
you?
the next season because just we gotta get mom on a podcast one day because there was a rule. First, it was like, sure, you can play lacrosse. Mom found out what lacrosse actually was. You're never playing goalie because that's the worst position you can put yourself in that sport. So, but like I'm a goalie in everything. And I'm not saying that because it's like one, maybe you can argue one doesn't like to run up and down the field as much. But like any other any in any sport, a all the athletes can agree like the goalie is still a skilled position. You still need speed, and even some of these sports, you need to be the fast guy. And yes, I had to learn that lesson later, including in soccer when the goalie position was filled by the coach's son. This was actually my last year playing soccer, if you remember, and I had to play defense, and it was the best summer or the best soccer season I ever had, and I was great, and I ran almost as much as I started running after college again when I was running, but I loved goalie, and I was good at it. I loved playing goalie in soccer and hockey, lacrosse. It was just something that was natural to me, the reflexes and the movement and the training for it. And I mean, you guys supported me once you saw the seriousness of it. You sent me to the camps, you got me the safety gear. And the thing that I just want to point out that's so interesting, and we can kind of move on from lacrosse, is
Yeah.
that now, and I don't know if I've just been busy the last few years, which is true, but this season I was really into the college Final Four and the tournament for the NCAA stuff. And all the goalies wear long pants with pads now. I don't know if you've noticed this,
Yeah.
but back when I was playing goalie, and I just like was almost commenting on all the TikTok videos. This is how you know I'm old because when I really was in the cut was 20 years ago. Literally, that is not hyperbole. I was like my best lacrosse goalie 20 years ago. If you wore shin pads, knee pads, long pants, you were called things, in this by your teammates, right? You were not a real goalie in lacrosse if you wore things below your knees, basically. Like goalie pants and a cup, yes, yes, definitely. But if you wear like the knee pants, like now I'm like, wow, yeah, do it, protect yourself. So I'm very happy to see that, and not everyone does it, but I see most goalies doing it, and it's cool because I get it. You're getting shot at, as they used to say, you get shot at 100 miles per hour with a lead ball in a little not lead but metal steel ball wrapped around hard rubber because that's what lacrosse balls are and these guys chuck it and I've taken many hits all over the body where this is the funny thing. I watch the sport and I'm like, man, I'd love to play. Get me back out there, let me get my stick and get in the pipes. Never mind, let me just let me just twirl the stick and throw against the wall. Do not shoot at me anymore. I'm done. Like I don't like I get it, but okay, I'm glad. Like those are intense sports.
Or throw against the wall in my bedroom, so that's okay.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, 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 pretty much. Pretty.
That and the camps will be stories for another day.
But
Anyway,
I want to just give you the shout out. Thank you, Dad, for because I do have fond memories going out to the elementary school with you. You'd come out with your baseball glove
yeah.
and throw at me while I'd be in the cage and train with me and work with me and just be part of it. So
Mhm.
love it.
Part of growing up, part of being a dad. So that's all part of it.
I can't
I
wait to
kicked
play
the,
with my
and
cats.
I kicked the soccer ball at Brent, I remember. So you could play defense, I think. Yeah, I did that. I remember that. Yeah, that was in my dreams. Um, all right, quickly, because we don't have a lot of time left. Brent, how was your week?
My week was fine, other than the fact that while trying to cook something in my oven, I burnt my arm on the tray as I was pulling it out. It shifted, hit me on the bicep. Ooh, that's the first time I've really burnt myself. I've touched hot pans before by accident. Never had it on my arm, so I've got, a nice burn mark here on my arm that's thankfully just a first degree, so I didn't have to go to the hospital or get any kind of medical attention. It was just it hurt. It hurt for a little bit, but yeah. let's just say I've now got a burn mark on on my arm that you could clearly see. It looks like a, I don't know how to describe it. It's just a burn on my arm now,
You're gonna
right
have
now.
something to tell the ladies now. You got to come up with a story. So I was out with my brother. We were boating, and the thing got too hot, and I saved him from a shark pulling him out of the water, and I burnt myself on the motor. Kind of thing. That's what you got to do. Or hey, I was cooking a prime rib, a filet mignon, and I pulled it out of the.
And I really shouldn't be shocked. I mean, every great chef talks about how all their burn scars and stuff that they've got all over their arms from not quite grabbing in the right spot. So, it's one of those situations where even the greats do something stupid sometimes.
Even the greats and even the stupid ones do something stupid. Excuse me.
All right, Carter, you're up. Your
What? How
week.
my week was?
Yeah.
Oh, my week was it was good. I had an eye exam, so I'm getting some new glasses. Got to do some follow up though, because you know and I'm trying to remember what else I did this week. But that's the main thing this week. And you know what? I love that eye puff machine at the eye
Oh,
doctor.
I hate that. I
I love
hate
it. I love it. It's like, you know what it reminds me of? When you're that, was it Little Shop of Horrors? When the guy goes to the dentist? And the guy who's like, do it. No, I hate it. It's, in fact, like the test before it, which I guess is the one you look into and you can see the little air balloon or whatever. I always think that's the eye test. So I'm like sitting there like crying the whole time, like barely keeping my eyes open. And then they're like, all right, we're gonna do the puff test. And then the doctor's like, I think you got to come back and do it again. It doesn't look, I don't know if you were strained during the eye exam at all or stressed during it. I'm like, no, 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 no. I was completely calm during that part of it. But I'm fine. The nerve's fine. But I'm excited to get some new glasses. It's been a little while. Apparently, my eyes changed where I can't read stuff right here as well, which makes a lot of sense. I haven't been able to read my charts that much. So otherwise, been good. Just working on a lot of stuff. I'd released some new music. Just dropped a new song. It's the last single before my album comes out next month. So I'm really excited about that. It's been a year long release process. So very grateful for it all.
Speaking of eye exams, I think nothing will ever top the last time I had my eyes checked. And I did that where you cover one eye and they tell you to, read the chart. So I covered my left eye and I'm reading the letters, and the text says, "What line did you just read?" Because I read it from right to left instead of left to right because I was doing my right eye. So for some reason in my brain, I said, "Oh, read the letters from right to left, not left to right like you would normally do." So that tech was just like, "What line did you read?" I said, "The third from the top." "Oh, I just read them backwards, didn't I?" She goes, "Yeah, you're fine. You're right. You're through your glasses. Your eyes are fine. Okay, I just didn't know what you were reading because it was like a random array of letters that I have no idea what you were looking at."
She was making sure she didn't have to call the hospital or something. Like, what's this guy?
Well, now you've taught me how, now that's good because now I know how I'm going to read it next time I get my eyes examined, eye examination. I'm going to read from right to left instead of left to right, and they really make them nuts. Great story.
Just read them. You know what
Um,
was cool though? The last thing I'll say, it was cool about the eye doctor is how the technology. I guess I haven't gone in 2 years, but it evolves already so much. One, they don't shoot the mirror like the little visual thing with the mirrors anymore. I mean, this is a pretty obvious one. They can just put like a computer up that you
yeah,
read off of.
yeah,
But the thing they put in front of your eyes, like the little lens reader, he put it down and then he goes one or two, and literally the thing moves automatically now. It doesn't flip
right,
anything. I
right,
literally was like, wait, wait, wait. Did you? What do you mean one or two? Like I don't even. I'm like, and then I realized that like it was doing it just literally by itself, and
yeah,
I was really like, oh, AI is coming for your job, huh? Like,
yeah. One or two, three or four, and going through the whole thing. That's always fun.
love it.
All right, my week. I told you about my conference, which I thought was interesting. Got to present at the conference, so that was. It's always fun when you get to do a presentation, and that was fun. The weather was, other than the one storm, I don't know the weather because we really didn't get outside all that much. You're in a conference, you're inside. It could be anywhere, because that was the purpose of being there. It's the conference as opposed to that. But the area around there. Again, I hadn't been there in a long time. It was very nice and very crowded and very college-like. So Princeton. So it was cool. Mom and I had dinner last night at a restaurant we hadn't been to in a long time, because your mother essentially said, "We're going out to dinner." She didn't quite say it like that, but it was, you read the tea leaves after a while. Yeah, let's go to dinner somewhere. So we went to Giuseppe's, which is a local restaurant, which we hadn't been to. Oh my goodness, it's a long time.
Love that.
And it was good. It was really good. It was fun doing that. The other thing is, um, and you guys are not big baseball fans, are you? You don't really follow baseball all that much at this point in your lives, which is
Brent's into it.
Somewhat. It's been harder for me, with certain sleep schedules these days.
Well, what
the
about it? I love
well,
the sport.
well, it's now that's one of my failings is you guys aren't the rabid professional sports fans that perhaps I was or what have you, or at least I never got that impression that you don't know the standings. You couldn't tell me right now where the Phillies stand, who's in first place and what division or what have you. So,
And there
um,
can be discussions about that because at least in my case, I'm like, it's a mind share thing. And it's like, I
yeah,
love that stuff. And I can get wrapped up in that whole thing so much because you know my personality and I
yeah,
can't. So I'm like, I got my stuff I got to do.
you're right. I
Can't
got
fall
you.
into it.
Okay. But anyway, so this weekend, the Phillies are playing the Mets, and right now, if you don't know, that they entered the weekend tied for first place in the Eastern Division, and so there's three games, and whoever wins two out of the three, will be in first place going forward, at least for the one day for Monday. Um, but the games in Philadelphia, were not shown on the are not were not and will not be shown on the normal channel. They're all national games. Friday night it was on Apple Plus, so I didn't see it because we don't have Apple Plus, and I'm not getting Apple Plus just for that. Got enough other services that I don't want it. Last night it was on Fox, the national game on Fox. Um, and I got it, but I couldn't watch it in the living room where we have the Roku because they told me I don't get that on my service, and which I thought was kind of strange because I got everything on my service except Apple TV, and that and some other stuff, but what have you. So I had to switch off and go to another room to watch the game, but the game was a runaway for the Mets. So thank you very much. I wish I hadn't found it. And then today's game is a national game on ESPN. So it's the national broadcast through the story that we will find and how that will play. But it's a really great, interesting weekend as to how this all works for baseball, and I'm excited. Although I missed the Friday game where the Phillies crushed the Mets, so had to watch the highlights the next day. But it's amazing now. All of sports are around the different places to go, so it's less. I'm going to throw it back to you, Carter, because we're less than a minute left in the broadcast.
Yeah, we're gonna have to wrap this one up. It's been a actual great convo. Maybe we'll have to update our streaming stuff so we can talk a little more. But I want to thank everyone for tuning in on behalf of Glenn Fox, Brent Fox, and Carter Fox. Thanks for listening to Like Father, Like Sons. We will catch you on the next episode.
You've been listening to Like Father, Like Son, sometimes featuring Brent.